Hello and welcome to the second episode of Review to a Kill. My name's James and I'm a big James Bond fan.
My name's Tom and I like Flash Gordon.
Which is a polite way of saying he's new to the James Bond franchise. Yeah. Each episode we'll be analysing a film from the series from the perspective of a first-time watcher who really would rather be watching Flash Gordon and someone who has seen it 100 times before, i.e. me. Now, as we said before the first episode, there will be spoilers. Okay, so if you haven't seen this movie that we're going to be talking about, you might want to switch us off. Don't switch us off completely. Just pause it. Come back.
Might be a good idea to watch along with me, because I'm watching these just before we shoot an episode.
Yeah,
so
before he watches Flash Gordon for the 5,000th time. Now, thank you very much, by the way, for your kind words about our first episode. Very, very kind of you.
Yeah.
Lovely feedback.
We got some very nice feedback.
We did. And we got retweeted by various friends and all that sort of thing online as well. So thank you to those in the James Bond Twitter community who helped us out with a retweet or a share.
It's made assembling this luxury item all worthwhile.
Your many, many hours of work have not been in vain. And can I particularly thank the bloke who sent me a message to say it was not bad, because that really keeps us going.
That's the kind of feedback we're after.
Yeah, no, definitely. We wouldn't want to be seen as average in any shape or form. Anyway, welcome to episode 2, and this episode we will be talking about
From Russia with Love. Oh, you're singing the song.
Well, we are available for weddings. From Russia with Love, or as Tom has called it on his new French poster, which wasn't here last time I came.
Upmarket poster.
Bon Baiser de Russie.
Oh, oui.
Paris Saint-Germain. Nice the way you've brought a bit of Gallic flair into the production. I think that's what the last one was missing.
Yeah, it wasn't quite as classy as I wanted. There was something quite off.
Sure.
Maybe it was because there was a Live and Let Die poster on our Dr. No episode.
Well, no,
but
that's all right.
We got a better one now, so...
And it's French. Avant-garde.
Oui,
de la Chateau. Right. I'm going to give you, as we did last time, there was a format to the last episode, believe it or not. I'm going to give you some basic information about the film, the background, how it came to be, and so on and so on. We will then throw seamlessly towards Tom, who will give his review of the movie from watching it for the very first time. And then we will talk about the movie in a little bit more detail and go to, frankly, the highlight of all podcasts, YouTube channels, the Bond board, which is just waiting to be switched on.
Yes.
Once those pyrotechnics go live, look out.
Yeah. And we should be able to see a bit more of it this time, because
it's not hiding behind the
we're learning as we go.
Yeah. So, would you like some basic information about From Russia with Love?
Sure would,
Okay,
mate.
let's go. This is the second film in the franchise. Sean Connery, of course, playing Bond for the second time. I thought he's a little bit more relaxed in the second episode. I thought he sort of looked like he knew the part a little bit more. Played it for laughs a little bit more, perhaps.
A little bit, yeah.
It was the fifth book. Once again, as we said last time, the movies are filmed in a different order to the books.
I've just got to Google the order, haven't I? Because that's something I don't know yet.
Yeah,
have a look at.
Part of your ongoing performance review. We'll look at it on the mid-year review. Right?
I didn't know about this.
Would you like some wig watch?
Yes, I'm glad you said, because I didn't notice any.
Well, I noticed that as well. I didn't think the wig was too obvious this time.
Oh, you're talking... Oh, so it is just Connery. That's the... Yeah.
I believe it's Connery.
I just take that one.
What, everyone was wearing a wig? Literally everyone.
Connery, I always assumed it was... Seeing as he had one in the first one, his hair didn't magically grow back.
No. But what I was surprised at was, every time I watch this film, he's presumably more bald than he was during Dr. No, and yet I thought the wig was a bit less obvious in this one. Although I have to say, and I don't want to spoil Goldfinger, the next episode, but there are a couple of scenes in Goldfinger where you go, ooh, wig. I'm sure you can't wait. Anyway, right, who else was involved? So Terence Young was recalled as director after the success of Dr. No. A stronger, I would argue, supporting cast this time. More high-profile supporting cast, perhaps. Big Mexican, Latin American film star Pedro Armendariz. as Kerim Bey. This was his final film role. He actually died before it was released, unfortunately. Lotte Lenya, the very famous Austrian singer and actress who had a big career in Europe. She had fled Austria before the war and now lived in New York City. She'd been nominated for an Oscar a couple of years previously. She was also the first person ever to record the song Mac the Knife.
Okay.
There you go. There's a little piece of trivia for you. Might come in handy in a pub quiz or something. You never know. I'm here to educate as well as entertain. Robert Shaw, very established stage actor and TV star in his first major film role. Went on to a tremendous film career, A Man for All Seasons and Jaws, of course. Yeah. And The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, which if you've never seen, brilliant movie, strongly recommended. The main Bond... Now, do we use the phrase Bond girl?
Yeah.
The leading lady, shall we say?
I think we can say Bond girl.
Is Daniela Bianchi, who was only 21, didn't speak much English. She was Italian and was the runner-up in the 1960 Miss Universe.
Oh, okay.
Which, considering Connery had also earlier entered a Mr. Universe contest, two very beautiful people on the screen, I think we can safely say. Her lines were redubbed by a British stage actress called Barbara Jefford. And the scene where she and Bond meet for the first time when she's in bed, that became the screen test for future Bond actors. So you can find online Sam Neill and big names testing as Bond, and they're doing that scene.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Lots of Bond regulars returned. So Bernard Lee as M, Lois Maxwell as Moneypenny. This was also the first appearance of Desmond Llewellyn. Yeah. Although he wasn't actually called Q. He was just said came from Q Branch. Yeah. He became Q in the next movie. But
is he another armourer in this one?
He is. He's more the sort of Major Boothroyd
good job,
figure.
that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also get our first view of Blofeld in this film, although he's not credited as Blofeld. He's credited only as a question mark on the titles. Although he clearly is Blofeld. He sat with the cat and all that. He was played, or played is maybe the wrong word because you don't see his face, but the guy who sat in and you see his hands stroking the cat and all that is Anthony Dawson, who played Professor Dent in Doctor No.
Wow.
There you go, you see. Hell. And he was voiced by Eric Pullman, the Austrian character actor. And this is also the first appearance of Walter Gotell, who became something of a Bond mainstay later on in a different role.
Because he's heavy in this one, isn't he?
He is. He's one of the main heavies in this one, but he plays a much fuller part in some of the later movies. I shall leave that for you as a surprise. The script was originally drafted by Len Dayton, the novelist who had just written The Ipcress File a few years earlier. The two writers from Dr. No, Joanna Harwood and Richard Maybaum, both returned, although Harwood left as Terence Young, the director, kept interfering with the script. She didn't like that very much. Most of the film was shot in Turkey, particularly around Istanbul. Looks beautiful, Istanbul really on screen. Apart from the bits that are supposed to be the boat chase, which is supposed to be in the Istrian Peninsula off what would be modern-day Croatia, was actually shot in Scotland. Believe it or not. So From Russia with Love, by the way, the book From Russia, with Love. Oh. Important grammatical error. Without grammar, we are nothing. Yeah. We are as the animals.
Which one's right?
Well, the book has the comma and the movie doesn't. Maybe it was too much aggro to get it on the...
Yeah.
Perhaps it wouldn't have translated to French.
It should have.
Bon Baiser, de Russie. Maybe that wouldn't have worked.
Rubbish.
I don't know. You're right. I'm completely against the idea. The book From Russia with Love had been published in 1957. It was Fleming's fifth James Bond novel, and it was extremely well received. It is generally considered one of the best Bond novels. It was one of President Kennedy's favourite books. There are a few differences between the book and the movie, though not all that many. The main protagonists in the book are Smersh, the Soviet intelligence apparatus, rather than Spectre. The character of Grant is interesting in the book. He's a Northern Irishman who is, if anything, even madder than in the movie. Oh. He actually kills in line with the full moon in the book. Ooh. Yeah, so he's like properly... I think the producers thought this was a bit dark for the movie. And it also, the novel has a different ending. It's still in Venice, it's still with Rosa Klebb, but Bond is in a much worse position at the end than going down the Grand Canal with Tatiana,
Yeah.
and they all live happily ever after. Just one more thing before I throw over to you for your long-awaited review.
Yeah.
The production. Now, this is the section we did in the last movie, in the last episode, and it said, were there any problems in production? The short answer here is lots. So the script was still being rewritten as they were shooting the movie, which is never brilliant, let's be honest. They were massively behind schedule and over budget. They had already announced a premiere date of October the 10th.
Yeah.
So because they were behind schedule, they were actually still filming on the 23rd of August. Yeah. So the editing was taking place as they were still filming. Yeah. It was all very, very packed. By the way, 23rd of August, the last day they filmed From Russia With Love.
Yeah.
60 years ago tomorrow.
Oh.
Like that. Almost as if it was planned.
Almost.
It wasn't, but, it could have been. It could have been. Now, problems. First of all the scenes with Karen Bay had to be shot first because of the illness of Pedro Armendáriz. Then Daniela Bianchi's driver crashed the car going into work one morning. Okay. She had bruises and lacerations on her face, so her scenes had to be delayed for 2 weeks. Then, as if all that wasn't bad enough, they were scouting locations for the boat chase in Scotland. Terence Young and an art director and a cameraman got on a helicopter to look over the loch, which promptly crashed into 60 feet of water in the loch. Terence Young had to kick his way out so that he didn't drown.
Yeah.
So there were one or two little issues making this movie.
Sounds it, yeah.
Yeah, not a trouble-free production. These are quite big problems.
Yes.
And yet they made what I think is a completely brilliant movie, but it's not my opinion that's important. Let me hand you over now to my colleague and, dare I say, my friend.
Thank you.
Mr. Tom Scriven, who will give you his... by the way, Tom Scriven SoundCloud on music. Check him out. He's good, this man.
Thank you.
He will give you his review of From Russia With Love from the point of view of a first-time watcher.
And once again, it's going to be a bit haphazard.
This whole thing is haphazard, don't we?
Yeah, but I'll start by saying that those facts about the trouble with the production are very surprising because...
doesn't come across in the movie.
It doesn't at all. It just... I don't know if I'd say I prefer this to Dr. No. Probably.
I'm going early. I do prefer this to Dr. No. Yeah.
Again, I'm enjoying this very much. I think I've made a good decision going for all these movies because it's 2 films in and they've been 2 absolute crackers. I'm just looking at my notes and thinking most of this stuff we're gonna get is gonna be the kind of categories from the board.
Okay.
So I will just say last episode we had some issues with the board with Dr. No not having all the things that we would
some of the categories. Yeah.
But this is like they knock it out of the park, don't they?
This is definitely the one I think where you start to see the formula.
Yes.
Coming. You've got a pre-title sequence for the first time and those sorts of things. Obviously, as a theme tune and so on. So I think this is where you start to see the template start to come in. There are some famous scenes in this movie. Primarily, I think the fight between Connery and Shaw on the train, which I think is fantastic. It sets the standard for me. And do you know what I like about it? There's no music. It would be really, really easy to drown that out with music, and there isn't.
Yeah.
There's just these 2 guys, and they're both big guys, very physical, very muscular, and they're properly going out. It is them, by the way. There's only a couple of shots with stuntmen in. The rest of it is them. They genuinely were sort of chucking each other around and stuff. We've also seen, as we see, the first pre-title sequence. Yeah. Which I think works really well, because you think James Bond is dead.
With the something a little bit off about his makeup.
Yeah, there is. It's just a little heavy, isn't it? Yeah.
And then they didn't kill him in the first 2 minutes.
They didn't kill him after all. Because obviously, it would be a ridiculous idea to kill James Bond off, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and we wouldn't want anyone to spoil that. When we're talking about making a show about James Bond.
Wonder if they're watching. They're almost certainly not. But yes, that's a good scene. I like the helicopter chase sequence because that recalls North by Northwest, which is one of my favourite movies.
Was that in Scotland as well?
North by Northwest? No.
No, the helicopter bit.
You mean the cornfields and all that? No.
The helicopter bit.
The helicopter bit was in Scotland, yes.
Yeah, because you said the boat bit before. And
You're right, yes. All that sequence was filmed in Scotland.
I'm paying attention.
Yeah, I know. I'm not doubting it. This is all being noted for your mid-year review. You're fine. So I like that scene a lot because...
From an F to an E.
I do like that scene because it does recall North by Northwest. And I think, again, it's fairly light on music. It builds the tension really well. I just think it's a really, really terrific scene. The other thing I wanted to say was this was really the first set of proper James Bond titles.
Yeah.
The sort of scantily clad women and the titles going on to their bodies and stuff like that. You probably did. I mean, you know.
I know. What I noticed was that there's a little bit of that in Doctor No, with some silhouettes of some dancers, and I just think they were like, hang on a second,
we're on to something here.
Silhouettes of that. We can.
Well, Maurice Binder always gets the credit for that because he does most of the pre-title sequences, title sequences rather. But this was actually Robert Brownjohn, so it was actually his idea to do the ladies and.
Wow.
Robert Brownjohn, the world thanks you for your contribution to the arts.
Yes.
Should we talk music?
Yeah.
You're the musician.
Yeah.
Tom Scriven music on SoundCloud. He's good, this man. So what did you make of the music? Because this is John Barry's first complete score.
Yeah, brilliant. You did say last time that I was in for a treat, John Barry-wise.
Yeah.
We got the kind of action theme for this one.
So that theme is called 007. It's the 007 theme, not the James Bond theme.
Right.
And it comes up in 5 James Bond movies in total. So you will hear it again and again.
Good.
The one we're referring to, if you don't know, I can tell you're a musician, honestly.
Yeah.
No, brilliant stuff. Anyway, it's that. And you're going to see it in lots of subsequent movies. And yes, it's completely brilliant. This was also the first real theme tune. Sung by Matt Monro.
Lovely stuff.
And written by a proper crooner, Matt Monro. You know, proper croony voice. Yeah. You know? You've seen just to take a little detour away from Bond. You've seen The Italian Job. You know, at the start when the guy's driving the Lamborghini up over. Listen to Matt Monro, just lovely. So sung by Matt Monro and written by Lionel Bart, who would go on to write.
Tell me.
Oliver, which is a bit different to this, but there we go. So yes, that's the music. Should we address controversies?
Yeah.
We probably
That's why
should.
we're here, isn't it?
Yeah, well, to have sensible conversations about the changing social mores of the last 60 years.
Yeah.
Really? Oh shit!
I'll get me to mess around with the roulette wheel
and to drink.
Yeah.
From our martini glasses.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of controversies here. First of all, you've got the first instance of Bond slapping a woman or hitting a woman when he slaps Tatiana on the train. Which I don't know if you would say that was strictly necessary in the course of, to the plot. I don't know. It strikes me as a bit unnecessary. The other thing I would say is I always struggle with the gypsy fight. I know they both look great, but really?
That sequence is a little bit, kind of...
For the visuals.
Yeah, and... What happens before? Oh yeah, there's the belly dancer that goes on for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just gets a little bit awkward after a while.
It does after a while.
There we get it.
Okay, yes, it's Sean Connery. We get it. He's very handsome. Yes.
And then, then they have the two ladies fighting over an unseen man. They're fighting to the death, so one can marry them. Yeah. It gets interrupted by the assault anyway.
Yeah. Apparently, Ian Fleming turned up on the set that day to watch the movie.
Dirty bastard.
To study it very closely.
Yeah.
Hold on, before you start, girls, let me just get comfortable here. I'm not fond of that scene. I don't think it really works. Even as a kid, it was like clang. Really,
Are you fond of the resolution to the fight that they're having, which is just let Bond do both of them? and
Yeah, I mean,
they kind of forget about the
there
other
was no
bloke.
verdict there, was there? Also, there's time pressure with this mission.
Yeah.
They go there in the evening, he sleeps with them all night, and then he sleeps with them the entire rest of the following day and doesn't leave until that evening. So you're like, well, if there is a bit of a time pressure on this mission, James, you've sort of wasted 24 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, you've had a lot of fun, but,
Yeah.
Anyway, there we are. Reception. The reception was completely fantastic for this movie. The box office for this was astronomical. $78 million. So nearly 20 million more than Dr. No.
Yeah.
Against a budget of 2 million.
Right.
So massively successful. The critical reception was absolutely brilliant. First film in the series to win a BAFTA for Best Cinematography. In 2004, Total Film Magazine... Hello to the good people at Total Film Magazine. If you'd like to sponsor us, you know where we are. Named it the 9th greatest British film of all time. And it was the only Bond film to appear on that list. It was also one of Cubby Broccoli's favourites. He always felt it was one of the best they'd ever made. You have heard a summary of the movie. And now we want to find out how Tom scores this movie compared to how I score the movie as someone who's seen it 1,000 times before. Though not as many times as Tom has seen Flash Gordon. So we must go to a prop, which frankly, I'm not sure a simple YouTube channel.
How many times?
YouTube program, YouTube thing can do it justice. It's not so much a prop. It's more of an achievement.
Yeah.
It's more a piece of art.
It's looking more like a piece of modern art.
It is.
I just realised.
What, it falls apart?
I just realised that's rubbed off there. Saw that out in a minute.
As long as you know what it says.
It's because I'm messing around trying to stick the letters back on.
Right, okay. Genuinely, do you know what it says, or do we have to perform running repairs?
No, it says. Of course we know what it says.
Of course we know what it says. It'd be ridiculous to start the podcast not knowing what it says. YouTube show. Sorry. Not knowing what it says. So, drum roll please. Tom, will you please activate the Bond board?
Bond board, activate.
The power of the lighting, it's too much for my eyes.
Here
right.
we go.
So what we're going to do is...
You can't see it now, can you? Because I'm trying to put it.
I don't need to see it. Listen, the Bond board is your department.
Well, I'll let you know what it's.
You're
you
the
wouldn't be able
artist.
to read it if you could see it.
You're the creative one. So you tell us what the first category is, and we will then score accordingly. And there may even be a brief discussion of said category.
Yeah, we've already talked about the first one. Oh, a little bit. Opening sequence. So this was Robert Shaw chasing who we assume is James Bond, but it's not.
Except it's not.
And he garrots him. Gadget, that'll be coming up a bit later. And
I love the matter of fact way you went, he garrots him. I mean, whatever.
And you're like, but so James Bond gets killed in the first 2 minutes, and then it's like, it's a big fake out. It's just.
But actually, I say that it was matter of fact. If you think about it, all the Spectre people on Spectre Island, they are completely matter of fact about it.
Yeah.
They just basically leave the dead body there, and all the lights come on as before he even hits the deck.
The guy come out. What's the guy's name? The heavy.
Walter Gotell's character. Yeah.
And he says, how long it was.
How long?
Like,
2 minutes and 45 seconds or something. Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
boy.
That guy. You garroted him good. Right. I like that a lot. But you go first.
Do I? Oh,
yeah.
I'm red, am I?
Yeah.
Okay. I will go 7, I think.
Okay. I thought this would be easy.
Now, you may need
to have to move the bugger, aren't I? Right.
I would move yourself because the board is lined up with the camera.
But
there's a lot more to this.
But I
than
can't
meets
move.
the
I haven't
eye.
got any room, have I?
No, I know. See,
I'm just gonna.
Swing yourself round in the. Honestly, it's like having a child again.
You mean open?
Swing yourself round in the. There you go.
But I got to make sure I don't. I was looking away from the mic too much.
So mic control, darling, is all.
It's like it's not. It's massively
No.
Big pyrotechnics going off, but it's a nice little.
And I will say it's in keeping with the rest of the film because it's not a big pyrotechnic-y sort of film, is it?
But it's quite a
suspense.
I am going to match your 7.
Interesting.
Have you got your calculator? Oh, you've forgotten it.
Don't worry, I've got my phone. But it does. I do need to put my reading glasses on because I'm 162. Right. So we've scored 14. Okay.
Yeah.
Next.
Theme song. She talked about Matt Monro. Lovely. I mean, it's not in the opening, the credit sequence, is it? But it's in the middle of the movie a little bit, and at the end, it's very nice.
And it is, I think, officially recognised as the theme.
The theme, yeah.
So, yeah. I like it, but maybe not on a par with some of the subsequent big hitters. I'll go 7 again. 7? I can imagine listening to it in the car as I'm driving serenely along, making fabulous progress on the M25.
Yeah, I like it a bit more. I'm going to go 8.
8, okay, so that's 15 for the theme song.
And then we're going to stay on music and score, which related to this because the opening, the title sequence has got a kind of, I take it it's John Barry version, and it is basically got all the romantic strings and everything from the song, but with kind of an undercurrent of Bond spyness, but it gets kind of built and turns into a full-blown James Bond theme by the end. And
as we've said, great use of music throughout the film. I think there's really only one place where, last week we talked about it being a bit too loud occasionally. There is when Bond is sort of going through the hotel again and ordering breakfast and doing all that stuff. It does crash in a little bit high. But the music itself is fabulous. And as we've mentioned, the 007 theme. Da 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 da. We've already done that. Da da. So I'm going to say 8 for the music. I think there's some good music in this.
I'm going to copy you. I thought I was going to get under the table then.
Oh, that'd be it. The whole podcast would be ruined.
Even more so.
If that pen hits the deck, I'm storming out of there, right?
I'm also... 8.
So 16 for music. 14, 15, 16. There's a pattern emerging here.
Stunts.
What'd you call me? Does the fight scene count as stunts? I think it does, doesn't it?
I think you're proper beating someone up on film.
And like I say, they're big guys. They're chucking each other around and running into the doors and stuff.
And there's also that's just quality. Very claustrophobic fight scene. Helicopter stuff. Yeah. Was that I should know his name now. The stunt guy, or was that
Bob Simmons? He wasn't on this movie. No, he didn't. He didn't work on this one. No. He was unavailable, as was Ken Adam, who was doing Doctor Strangelove with Stanley Kubrick. So the sets are a little bit different. In this one. Just an interesting little aside. Well, I thought it was interesting, maybe.
Oh, I'll tell you a good stunt in this. It's when Claire puts a knuckle duster on.
Oh, yeah.
Smacks Robert Shaw in the gut. Yeah.
And Robert Shaw was clearly in great shape at this point. And you can see he's sort of...
It's like, this one should be fine. Where he's like, really was?
He was.
It's hemorrhaging.
You've just broken 3 of his ribs, so he'll be out for a while. But, I'll tell you the other stunt. Well, I think we would call this a stunt. Is when they go into the Russian embassy and blow it up. Yeah. I like the exchange with... when he says Russian clocks are always correct, and then immediately the bomb goes off. Yeah. Which I think is quite a good stunt, because Connery's reaction into that is genuine, because the explosion was louder and bigger than he thought it was going to be. So that's why you see Connery go like, shit, as if to say, no. So I am going to say 7 for stunts.
Okay. Trying to think if there's any more. There's the boat, there's a helicopter, the boat with the... Oh, yeah, loads of blokes on fire.
The guy on fire going into it. Sorry, that's always good. You're happy to see a man on fire.
In a bloody film,
in the context of the movie. Yeah.
If I was in real life walking down the road, saw a man walking past going, on fire, I would go, good.
We had your gun obsession last week. Now we've got this. There's a side to you that I'm really quite perturbed by. I'm worried about you.
Well, just look, it's perfectly honest. I told you not to go in that door. Just
Who or
you can
what
go anywhere
is
you
in
like.
there? Just don't go in that.
Yeah.
The one with the lock on the handle. Right. Okay. Fine.
I think it's my not that I'm like anti CGI, but
No,
I'm
I know what you
more
mean.
impressed with people
People
dousing
doing it
themselves
real.
in
Yeah.
whatever
No, I agree
liquid
with
that is, setting themselves on fire, running
Yeah.
around, doing proper stunt work.
Yeah. Completely agree.
That's
with
what I'm up for. So I will go 8.
that. 8. See, this is
Very
interesting because
close.
at the moment, the newbie is scoring more generously
yeah.
than the fan.
Yeah.
There we are. Interesting.
I've been very excited.
No, hey, I love this.
And
movie.
watching these films, and they've been really good.
I love this movie. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
We got vehicles.
Well, does the train count, or are we talking cars? Really?
Well, it is a vehicle. I mean, it's not so much like, oh, I really loved that train, so I'll give this an 8. But half an hour on that train is cinema gold. It's just the best
All the wood
bit.
panelled,
Yeah.
beautiful. Do you know that was just Pinewood Studios? They just constructed a little set of Pinewood Studios. Yeah.
Nice, very good. I mean,
And I like to see Bond on a train because in the books there's lots of talk about how he loves travelling by train and obviously it's the Orient Express and so on. So yeah, if we're counting trains, then this is going to score highly. We're lacking a great car.
oh yeah. Yes, I can't even think of one that he does.
no.
Does he drive? I mean, he has.
I don't think he drives at all.
He
in
gets
this, does he?
driven.
I don't think he drives at all in this.
No.
I'll go 7.
And there's the boat. It's pretty cool, and a few helicopters are pretty cool.
When they're not crashing into the lot with the director on board.
What you said? 7?
I'm saying 7, yeah, because I think it's lacking a car.
Sort of, yeah.
See, you're not as into trains as I am.
No.
So you're going to go lighter,
I'm
aren't
going
you?
to go down, and there's no car. Helicopters and the boat's pretty cool, but I will go 6.
Or 6, as your new poster would say. Yeah, a little bit of French there. We're very multicultural like that.
Am I on the right? Oh yeah.
What's the next category?
Villain. So
I think this scores highly for villains.
So yeah, because I think because you said Robert Shaw, he's one
of
like
the
a
all-time
henchman.
great heavies.
He's a proper villain.
Yeah.
What about Klebb and what's his name?
Kronstein.
Kronstein.
Well,
Are they-
Klebb, I think, is particularly memorable because she's one of those characters that seems to have sort of gone into the lexicon of sort of Bond greatness. A bit of a random piece of casting, but brilliant performance. Robert Shaw is terrific. I mean, he's just brilliant in this movie. And of course, you get to see Blofeld for the first time, albeit it's only Anthony Dawson's hand. But you know, so and great voice as well. Eric Pullman's voice, really dark and horrible and scary. So I'm gonna go 9. I think for villains. I think this is a really strong set of villains.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it looks like I'm just copying you, but I make some good points.
So I thought for a moment you were going to completely contradict me and go, I'm going to say 1.
Yeah, rubbish. No, they're brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, even if he was on his own, that's a 7 or 8. And then Klebb, Kronstein, was it? Kronstein, not.
Little bit more forgettable. Although, again, a lot of menace. When he's playing chess at the start and he gets the message to go to Spectre and he just sort of casually folds up, then wins the game of chess and just disappears.
You know what I was thinking of during that scene?
I dread to
Richie and Eddie. That just made me think I'd love to see them in that setting with their Spider-Man and the
Kingsborough to Kingsborough 1.
So that I was on board with the movie in the first few minutes.
Chess straight away.
Yeah.
There was no Spider-Man on the table. That's where it went wrong.
Attack. I'm going to say 9 as well.
Okay, so we're scoring
maybe
highly.
Next time I should rate first so it doesn't look like I'm copying you.
Okay, well, you rate first on the next category.
No, I meant next episode.
Okay.
Well,
what's the next category? Because I literally can't read that.
It's just come off, hasn't it? Henchman. But, well, that's the thing. There aren't really any because they're all...
Well, or are we
villains.
calling Robert Shaw a henchman? I would say he's a villain.
I think he's proper. I think even like Kleb and Kronstein are villains, aren't they? Kronstein's devised the whole plan at the start.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about back to villains as well with Blofeld. I did really love the fish analogy at the beginning when he's like, they fight each other while the other one watches, and then they ruin it by going, and this is a analogy for the movie. So yeah, we understood that. Fucking hell. Maybe audiences weren't hadn't understood how storytelling
Was there
works.
someone sat there going, I don't get it. Why is he telling me
Why
this?
is he going on like the fucking fish? Why don't he talk about his plan with James Bond?
I mean, there is the henchman that Walter Gotell plays, and I like watching him a great deal. And I also like, I mean, obviously the killing of Kronstein is quite good because you think it's going to be Kleb, and it's not. Also, I do like the way he is when he's with Kleb on Spectre Island, when he says something along the lines of, this Grant is a homicidal, paranoid maniac. Absolutely superb material. Like he's talking about a car or something. You know? So yeah, I think he's quite a bit of an underused character. Could have been maybe a bit of a bigger part. So I'll go 6.
Yeah.
I think he's slightly underused. So I'll score a 6. You're going to say
5.
I coughed across your 5. I apologise. Very bad.
5.
Very bad etiquette.
That's all right. Oh crikey! That's
I'm now seeing something beginning with L, but location. I mean it could say laryngitis for all I know. What?
I'm making it worse. Location.
Well, the main location, of course, is Istanbul.
Istanbul, very nice. Venice at the start, but
Venice, yeah. Some sort of establishing shots of Venice. Although Connery didn't actually go there. Sorry. The interior of Venice shots were all done at Pinewood. Sorry. But always nice to see Venice on screen. I've never been to Istanbul and I'd love to go. It always does look, the Hagia Sophia looks beautiful. And the scenes in the reservoirs underneath the city, that's genuine down there. You can go down there and see them for real. They genuinely did film down there. So I'll say 7, I think. I think it would have been very impressive for an audience in 1963. Most of them would never have even been on a plane before.
Yeah.
But by the standards of what was to follow, when he sort of pops to Rio for a bit and then pops to Hong Kong for a bit and sort of... So, yeah, maybe 7. I will add a 7 to the tally.
And so will I.
Tom, just because I say 7, you don't have to say 7. Although we are...
These are my views.
No, that's fine. And you are entitled to them and entitled to express them via the medium of this podcast, YouTube formula thing. What's it called? A YouTube what?
Show.
YouTube show, obviously. It's a YouTube show. What else would it be? Okay, next category.
I didn't spray paint this gold so you could call this a fucking podcast. Right. Story.
High marks for the story. It sticks really close to the book, which was one of the best, maybe the best book. So high marks for the story. Big 9, I reckon.
I had 9. I promise I had 9 in my head before you said.
Okay.
Because I love this.
Right. Do you want to go first on the next category, and then you can't copy?
Yeah.
me?
Okay.
Right. So 2 9s for the story.
And just
18.
Also, I'll just say these 2 movies, Dr. No and this, have zipped along. They're about 2 hours, or just under 2 hours each. But they're perfect. The pacing and everything is just...
There is a lot in From Russia with Love, which I think is quite Hitchcock. The scenes on the train.
Yeah.
And I mentioned the crop dusting scene in North by
Northwest. And I noticed,
and it's got that suspense, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. I noticed being on the train when it was about sort of 20 minutes in and thinking, they've been on it for a while.
But it works.
You're not like, this is going on a bit. You're just like, I could be on this for the whole movie.
And I do. And again, the train is there's obviously there's a love scene. There's a very dramatic scene with chases and fights and things. Yeah. There's scenes where the tension is building when Robert Shaw's with them, and you're thinking, when's Bond going to spot? And whatever else. Yeah. There's also humorous scenes because the scene where Kerim Bey is with Benz, and he says, I've had a particularly fascinating life, and starts giving him his life story. I mean, that's brilliantly done. That's a really great scene.
Yeah.
So, love it. Love it.
Okay.
Love it. What's next?
Well, I've put these at the end now because we thought it'd be better that way. It is time for Gadgets, Gags and Girls.
Have you met the wife's mother?
Ah,
Gadgets.
super.
Well, we do have our first proper gadget in this movie because, of course, we have the briefcase.
Briefcase is amazing.
It is good, isn't it?
Proper good.
In 1963, though, that would have been...
Yeah, I know.
You've got a briefcase that can blow people up. That's
Yeah.
brilliant. You know, it would have been, like, amazing.
And I like... I take it this is what happens as a kind of trend.
Well, have you not seen it? What?
No, in the later ones.
Go on.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch the movie. I just winging
made
it. The Q explains exactly what everything does, and then he goes, "Well, I probably won't need this, would I?" And then he needs everything that's in the case at the end.
Yeah.
Even
the money
the gold.
and
so it all works perfectly.
Yeah, and also there's bits you can start to see. This is what I meant about Connery looking, I think, more comfortable in the role in the second movie, because you can start to see him sort of improvising little bits and adding little bits in. So when Q says about turning the catches and just open it normally and everything will be fine, just before he opens it, you can see him sort of think, oh shit, you know, as if to say, really, you know, sort of open it a bit like that.
Yeah.
So I think it gives, you can see the genesis for what's going to come, all the banter between, I hate that word, but you know what I mean, all the byplay between Bond and Q that comes later on. So I like that scene a lot. So, and as you say, the gadgets are brilliant.
Yeah. So, I mean, we should just go through it. It's got, so you have to turn the lock to the side, otherwise, tear gas explodes in your face. There's a sniper rifle in there as well. Yeah. Which I know I said guns aren't gadgets. I'll say when you put them together and they...
Tom's talking about guns again.
That is a bit more of a gadget-y gun, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's got the gold in there, which is, you think, oh, how is that gonna? But
it's helpful.
It's a tempter.
You got the knife, which he stands on showing the arm. That swings the fight in his direction.
Yeah.
Can I just ask on your? I can't help but notice on your notes you've got slight fire hazard.
Oh.
What is that?
I might not have got to that.
Oh, sorry, right.
This is...
Right, shh. Okay.
No, I might have forgotten, so I'm glad you said.
Oh. I thought you meant we're coming to it later.
No, early on, when Kleb's gone to get Brant, and she's being taken around the train... The
train and there's all these guys with the flamethrowers.
The flamethrowers right next to the AR assault rifles.
Walter Gotel.
And then in the foreground, there's just two people like having a fight, and they're like, and it's all in
the flamethrower.
About sort of 60 square feet of just mayhem.
And she just casually walks through the middle, like whatever. And so also, I do like the way Walter Gotel says, we use live targets here too, as if to say, we waste human life on a daily basis.
Don't
it's
worry
fine.
about that.
It's all good. Sorry. Yeah. So I suppose if you throw flamethrowers into it, you've got another gadget.
Yeah. There's some. See, that's the thing. My notes are a bloody mess. But the venomous boot knife as well. That's a gadget.
That's a good gadget. Yeah.
Very good.
And a long-standing one. You know, one that actually is spoofed in subsequent movies and you refer to in subsequent movies. So,
and of course the garroting watch,
available now from QVC for a very reasonable, just $99.99.
Yeah,
or 4 easy monthly payments of. Get your garroting watch now. Let's have a look at this garroting watch, Tom. You can see the craftsmanship there. I think this is going to score highly for gadgets, but you go first.
Oh yeah. So we've got the briefcase, that's amazing. Garroting watch, decent.
Okay, you've mentioned the garroting watch. Let it go now. All right,
what else did I say? And the boot with the knife. So, a 9. Bloody good stuff.
bloody good stuff.
Oh no, I'm blue.
See, you going first has just thrown the whole system out of whack now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I am also going to say 9, I think.
Copied me.
Well, no, okay, 8.3.
No, I said it.
Okay.
First answer. Right.
Next.
Gags.
There's
a few. I've got them dotted around.
Okay, go on. Then. What have you got? And
I've got when they do the assassination, through the poster with the mouth.
Yep.
She should have kept her mouth.
should
I couldn't
have
do the accent then.
She should have kept her mouth shut.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there's a little gag in the poster, because the poster in the book, this is a direct lift from Fleming, the poster in the book is a picture of Marilyn Monroe for a Monroe film.
Okay.
But in the movie, it's for a film called Call Me Buena, which was being made by Eon Productions. So they were actually advertising their own movie in one of their other movies.
Sneaky.
And it was Anita Ekberg's mouth. So there's a bit of a sort of in gag there as well. The other thing I want to draw attention to, it's not strictly a pun, but or a quip, but it is a joke. When they're listening in the office to the tape of Bond and Tanya, and she says, "Will you make love to me?" and he says, "Day and night, keep talking." And then he says something about about when Em and I were in Bangkok, and he switches the tape up and goes, "Thank you, Miss Moneypenny, that'll be all." And sends Miss Moneypenny. All of the actors in that are just perfect.
It's fantastic.
It's beautifully done.
Yes, I did laugh out loud, and I know they were going for laughs there. It was,
But that is genuinely one of my favourite scenes in the whole series.
Here, mate.
It's absolutely
really
brilliant.
good.
There are a couple of other little puns. She's had her kicks after he's dealt with Rosa Clare.
I got that.
There's also a bit of the gypsy camp after the fight where he says, "I'll see what I can do with this filthy stuff," and he picks up the bottle of red and literally swigs from the bottle.
Yeah, which I looked into. Is it raki they're drinking?
I don't know what it is, but it's strong.
It's I think it's a Turkish, it's their sort of drink of choice.
90% proof wine.
Yeah, but I'm not 100%, and forgive me all the raki fans out there, but it seems to be kind of what you go for when the Pernod and the Uzos run out.
Right, okay, so it's like...
Yeah. Filthy.
We're not alienating our Turkish viewers,
But-
because we're very big in Turkey.
Yeah.
We've got millions of viewers over there. Yeah.
And I'll give anything a go drink-wise, so...
Yeah, you will. You literally will. Also, red wine with fish, that should have told me something.
Yeah.
I think is a good, again, not really a quip, but a good line. Because he sort of figured out Grant is not who he says he is. He's not Captain Nash.
Yeah.
And you can see there's something about this guy, and he's figured it out from the red wine with fish thing, which is very Bond. So, good gags. Maybe not as gag heavy a movie as some that followed. That would be my summary.
Do you want my score?
Well, otherwise you'll only throw a tantrum if we get the same number. So I think probably you should go first.
I want that. I really laughed at when they're listening to the tape. The actual gags.
How quickly Emma switches off as well. All of a sudden.
But I'm going to go 5 for gags.
Are you?
Yeah.
That seems light to me. Okay.
I don't think they are.
So we're not counting the M scene as a gag? I mean, it's not a one-liner, I suppose.
All right, I'll go up 1 then to 6.
Oh, you can't do that. Put 5 in the calculator now. Right, I'll add 1.
we
Right,
can
there
add
we
1.
are. Is that how a calculator works? You just add 1 and it becomes 6. That's clever, isn't it?
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, it's a crazy world. I will go 7, I think.
Okay.
I'll go 1 above you.
Right. And then...
Finally,
we've got girls, which... We've changed our minds, haven't we? About we were going to just give them all 10 and be all liberal. But
Well, we should probably make clear we're not judging the women on looks.
Yeah, exactly.
This is their impact on the series as the leading lady in a Bond film.
I won't speak for you, but I think
You can speak for me. I trust
my
you.
concern was that we were going to be taking the piss out of men treating women horribly and saying, "Oh, wasn't that bad?" And then we go, right, 9 out of 10.
Oh, I see what
so
you mean.
I thought it would look
Okay.
very hypocritical.
No,
and
no,
bad.
no. That's a fair
But
point.
it's been pointed out to me that it was a bit stupid and that we should, say they're all gorgeous. With it,
Goes without saying, they wouldn't be
that
there
goes
if they weren't
without
gorgeous.
saying.
Yeah.
They are,
Okay, so we're
they're-
scoring
especially
there.
with Tatiana. You can see that she's got a decent character, and she had.
Yeah.
So I kind of just thought they were just there for eye candy and weren't really
Okay.
as significant. But Tatiana.
Let's make that clear so that we know for next
So
time.
we're
Right, that's
rating
fine.
like the character and
Okay.
and
We probably didn't make that clear enough last
yeah.
week. So, okay.
Oh, basically, should we go back to Honey Rider from Doctor No then? Just quickly then.
Well, I would still score her a 10, to be
Would
honest,
you?
because I think she's the sort of original archetypal Bond girl. She's probably the most famous, the white bikini coming out of the sea and all that. I think if we're talking about their impact on the series, it's a high score, isn't it? Because, you know, it's probably the most copied, one of the most famous scenes in cinema history.
That's a good point. And then...
I'm full of good points.
And then,
this is what I do. I make good points.
We haven't got to change anything then.
Yeah, and
the
we don't
real
like
pain in the ass. I get blue on my finger.
Yeah. So, Tatiana in this, a much more developed character than Honey. Yeah. No doubt about that. I think she's a bit underrated because she's not the sort of run around killing people and stuff. That said, she is one of the few Bond girls that kills one of the main baddies. Yeah,
she does.
Clever. So, yay Tatiana.
We like Tatiana.
I'm scoring Tatiana a 9.
Yeah, okay. Oh, you're red.
That was a very positive yeah.
No. I think if we could give Honey Rider 10, we can give Tatiana 10 as well.
Okay.
I'm going to score very high.
We have a total
for
From Russia With Love. Would you like to know what that total is?
Please.
Dr. No scored out of a possible 240, 143. From Russia With Love has scored out of a possible 240.
Big.
184.
Whoa.
Which I think could be a big score.
Yeah.
It could be a tough one to beat.
Yeah.
It is generally considered, I think amongst fans, I would say this one always ranks pretty highly. I'd say it's in the top 10 of most fans' lists. Right. Top 5 maybe. Whenever I do a list, it's always about 4th or 5th.
These gone.
Has your end come off again? I know you hate it when your end comes off.
Right.
It's always annoying when your end comes off, isn't it?
Annoying when any of them come off.
Right, so Dr. No 143, From Russia With Love 184. Big score. Next time we do this, it will of course be the third movie, which will be Goldfinger. Which is another high scorer. So we will see how that fares. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Can I just say before we go, please follow us on Twitter. Which is @ReviewKillShow. @ReviewKillShow. Please give us a cheeky little follow. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is called...
Luxury Tedium.
Luxury Tedium.
Yeah.
Or you can just search for A Review to a Kill on YouTube.
Or you can search for A Review to a Kill. Yeah.
And just as I've always said, it's not a podcast, it's a YouTube show. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.
Bye.